Live now from Fox. Thank you so much for joining us. We were seeing high atop there, guilty on accounts. You predicted kind of what's going on, but this is an unprecedented. Can you kind of give me a sense of just the ramifications of this?
And a really historic moment that we are seeing a former president dragged into criminal court, being held accountable, being convicted of 34 felony counts by 12 members of the community there in New York. I cannot understate what an important day this is. And there are a lot of folks who believe that Donald Trump has been treated unfairly by our criminal justice system. But I'm an attorney. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I believe that our legal system works. I believe in our jury system. It's the greatest system in the world, and it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Hunter Biden in a week or two. Everyone is bound by the rule of law, and this shows that presidents are not kings, like the U.S. Supreme Court said, and that no matter what happens on the political arena, our legal system works. And today, I'm proud to be an American.
Yeah, and of course, there was reports from our Fox 5 team, Morgan Mackay, inside of that courtroom saying there were audible gasps as well. What do you think maybe the reaction is going to be from people far and wide across this country? Because we are seeing some of these reactions there outside of the courtroom, people cheering, but also probably people mad as well. How aware is the judge of this, and maybe what precautions are now being put in place? Because you can imagine as this news spreads throughout the United States, the United States and New York as well, maybe what kind of is in place? What is the judge doing about this to kind of make sure everyone knows what's going on, make sure that the rule of law was followed? How are they doing maybe on a grander scale?
Well, hopefully law enforcement across the country is prepared for anything, because we've seen civil unrest with these types of verdicts, and it could be everything from Rodney King to George Floyd to even January 6th and the Capitol riots. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. There are people that are going to be very happy about this verdict and people that are going to be very upset. I was on our sister network, Fox News, this morning, very early, 5:30 this morning, and I said that this was a good sign for the prosecution, that the jurors were asking for a readback of evidence that was favorable to them. And people thought that, it's biased and political, and I'm just here to talk about the law. So I can't imagine what Trump is going to be saying outside that courtroom. I think he's going to rail against this verdict and this judge like he's continued to do so. I do think he has some arguments on appeal, and I also question the defense's strategy in this case. I think they made many mistakes. I think the most important of which was they told those jurors that they were going to call an accountant from the Trump organization that was going to explain these records. They never called that accountant. They relied on Bob Costello, who frankly was not a good lawyer. He was someone that was disrespectful as a lawyer. And they told the jurors that the business records were actually true, that they were legal expenses pursuant to a retainer agreement. What they should have done is say that these were falsely but innocently and mistakenly categorized as records by someone other than Donald Trump. They should have attacked that criminal intent. They really swung for the fences, and they missed badly. Now, on appeal, I think the defense has three major arguments here. The first of which was that this case, the indictment, the charges were too vague. Now, that's an argument that worked previously in Georgia. Judge McAfee there dismissed some of the counts, and that's on appeal. They, of course, are going to argue that the Sandoval hearing was incorrect. And that was the hearing, of course, where Judge Juan Merchan said, if Donald Trump testifies, the Jean Carroll defamation verdicts can come in, the New York civil fraud verdict can come in, the violations of the gag order can come in. I think that is one of the reasons Donald Trump didn't testify. He didn't want to be subject to cross-examination of all those other tangential cases. And the question is, was it a mistake in this case? And I think it was. Donald Trump should have testified now in retrospect. And the third, of course, is something that we discussed yesterday. Judge Juan Merchan said that even though the jurors have to be unanimous, they don't have to be unanimous as to the other crime that was covered up or furthered. So it could be a tax crime, could be a campaign finance violation, could be election fraud. Now, a lot of people have taken issue with that, but that generally tends to be a correct rule of law. And what I've told folks is, imagine a death penalty case. To return a death sentence, jurors have to decide that there are aggravating factors that merit putting someone to death. but they don't necessarily have to agree as to what those aggravating factors are. They can differ as long as they unanimously agree that those factors exist, and that's what's happened.
Well, it happened. Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 charges, man. I want to say, the United States justice system did their thing, but we got to wait to see. Plain and simple, and listen, I'm just being frank. We got to wait to see if they're going to send this nigga to jail. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you if that was a black man or if that was a Mexican, Hispanic man or Puerto Rican, some other, his ass going to jail. Even if they go to jail for 6 months. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they don't send a nigga to jail, then, it's still some bullshit. But I'm kind of still surprised that they found a nigga guilty. You know what I'm saying? Just because this country. But I'm pretty sure it was so many people watching, so many people posted outside the courtroom. It could have been a fucking riot if they didn't, you know what I'm saying? The jury didn't. And the jury know what they believe in, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's official, bro. The Trumpster, man, Donald J. Trump, found guilty on all his charges in his hush money trial. We got to wait to see, what's next, just as far as in general, if they're going to lock him up or what he's going to say or what certain people are going to say. But all I can say is America is like a fucking circus, man. And this is America, bro. And I believe he's the first president to even get convicted guilty of some shit like that. That's crazy, bro. Look what they trying to do to Sean Kingston for his fraud and shit. All this hush money and finessing and, you know what I'm saying? Let's see how they do a white man who was the former president. And can he even still run for president? I don't think he can still, he's convicted, right? I don't know. This is America, so I don't know. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man, about this. Donald J. Trump found guilty. Comment, subscribe, notification bell going. Yeah. Hey, it's me again, man. I appreciate you, man. Please stop what you're doing. Go follow the channels IQ Shaheed TV and Connoisseur Not Connoisseur for more bonus clips, different content other than this channel or whatever channel. Yeah, let's go up, bro. If you're wondering why he ain't upload on the main channel, it's because I'm over here on these, man. I appreciate y'all. Snow gang.